same, yeah.
I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Sure, that'd be great.
So this is Max from Adobe, and Max is a marketing professional with a passion for education tech and a drive to launch products and services to help shape the future generation of young creators.
Awesome, thank you.
Warm welcome.
All right. Did you guys hear me over there in the back? Okay, cool. Awesome. So thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the GRC department. Thank you for all the teachers that actually reached out to me and made me come over here. Thank you all the students to actually not skipping this session and coming over here. I wanted to say this for about 3 years. I was in your shoes once. In 2016 I graduated, but in 2013 I started my journey with GRC. And one of the most valuable sessions was actually during this International Pen Week. It's when I actually heard professionals speak about what they do, and I got excited to actually, do really well in school to be able to maybe be like them, when I come out. So I'll start off with an agenda. So my agenda today, I'll be talking about my journey from coming to Cal Poly, maybe a little bit before even Cal Poly, and then to actually, leaving Cal Poly and then starting work at Adobe. Do you guys know the small company Adobe? All right, cool. So what you see, the graphics actually that I wanted to mention, it's a really cool project. So the Adobe A right here and the Adobe A right here is actually part of this big project, big corporate project that we do across. We have tons of offices all over the world, and it's basically called the Adobe Remix Project. And so they did it one time, I think they repeat it every year, where they give people, whoever it may be, the freedom to create the Adobe logo in whatever way they want to create it. So there's people doing like lava and different inks, and then there's people doing like different really abstract art and combining the logos. There's like pencil chiselings, and every office they go to, different offices have actual live structures of these things that people made in different regions. So here's my journey. My slides are a lot less pretty than Alyssa. I was not a DRT major. I was a graphic communication management concentration. Do I have any management folks around here? All right, you're my people. How about DRT? How many more are DRT? Okay, cool. So in 2012, I had no idea what I was doing. And I applied to a bunch of universities and decided, you know what, I'm going to go start off with San Luis Obispo because it's close. In the south, there's more schools, so I wanted to see, LA and all these. And so I came to Cal Poly in 2012 with my parents, and I checked out the campus, walked around, and was like, wow, this is really cool. I came from a middle to high school that had 9 people in my graduating class. So I'm from San Francisco, which is a very big city, but I went to a very small private school in the city. So it was a big shock for me. I was like, wait, I had 9 friends, and now like I'm walking around, there's like thousands of people looking at me. So it was a big shock for me, but I really liked the weather. First of all, San Francisco weather is not the greatest. SLO is amazing. I saw the facility, I was like, wow, I could totally see myself here and here. I talked to a couple professors, I sat into a couple of classes, and then I realized, you know what, like this is the fit, that moment, like, aha, like I want to stay here. So I went ahead and signed the papers, came over here, and then started my journey. I did not start as graphic communication, and so I'll kind of get into that. I actually started as ethnic studies. I didn't know what that meant either. I kind of just selected, swiped on the major list for the state schools and was like, this one. And so little did I know how difficult it's going to be, and it actually kind of pushed me later on to switch over. But in 2012, I started as an ethnic studies major, and then I realized, okay, this is not for me. I don't even know what these classes are, both G and regular. I was like, I need to figure out what I need to do with my life. I had no design experience prior to this. My school didn't even offer, like the most they offered with design was AP Art History. That was in a museum, not even at the class, in the school. So I had to figure out my own path. I talked to different people. I was in Trinity dorm. Do I have anyone from Trinity dorm here? Oh wow, that's a lot. Okay, so I was in the dorms and I started talking to people. What are their majors? What are you doing? And graphic communication came up, and I was like, what is this thing? Do I have to be a designer? Do I have to have a portfolio? Do I have to know how to even draw to get into this major? And they're like, yeah, like I have some prior experience, but like go check it out. Talk to different people. Go talk to the professors. So I did a little more research. I checked it out, and I was like, wow, this is like everything I want. There's photography, there's printing, there's design, and I could learn it all from the ground up and teach myself the products. And so I remember stepping into, I think, first Professor Macro's office and then Professor Donegan's office, and I was like, hey, I want to join. I don't care what it takes, whatever it takes, I want to start. And so the journey was very tough. I don't know if any of you guys are switch majors, but it is. You are. Shout out to you. It's very, very difficult in respect. It's a tough process, but it's really worth it, realizing, hey, you just got into this major, they're helping you out, and Professor Donegan, you've really got me into this major and actually set up this path for me. So thank you again. In 2013, I kind of got settled in as I think it was mid 2013, I got settled in as a graphic communication major, started taking the classes, and then I was like, you know what, I want a side gig. Alyssa mentioned this before, working on campus can be challenging with classes, but it's really worth it. You get to practice what you like doing, as well as go to school, and it also is a good time killer, and you get paid for it. So I decided to be a rep, and I wanted to do some type of social, salesy type of thing where I get to talk to people, go to different, the UU, go to different parts of the campus, and basically try to either sell something or promote something. And so Microsoft came up. I think I was browsing LinkedIn, and I saw there's a Microsoft rep program. I reached out. They didn't have a campus. They didn't have one at Cal Poly. So I was like, hey, are you down to do this in SLO? I want to work for you guys. I'll promote your products. I use them daily. And this is right before I even knew what Adobe was or how to use Adobe. And so become a Microsoft rep. I'm over here showing two of my classmates. That's Turi and Lauren. Near I think that's the Heidelberg Press behind us, the Lenovo Yoga. So this is this flip book. And so I learned the book, and I knew how to basically show it off to people, talk to people. Highly recommend any type of rep job. Super, super fun, and it's a good way to kind of get out of your comfort zone, meet new people. Then the Microsoft program shut down, and in about 2014 or so, 2015, I was on Facebook, and I see an ad, would you like to be an Adobe rep? It was literally godsend. It was wow, I've just ended this job, now I get this job, this is great, and it's the software I use every day. So Adobe came up, and I applied. Super easy process. Applied, say, hey, you don't have one in SLO, I want to do it. And the rep program was different than it is now, and I'll kind of cover how I actually got to manage that program and convert it into something that I created from the beginning. But I get all the swag, I get onto campus, and I really start to teach the product that I'm actually still learning myself. So Adobe products can be very, very daunting and difficult when you look at them at first, but when you start teaching someone else or even helping a peer, you kind of get the hang of it. And I never believed this when teachers would tell me practice with your friend teaching, and then you'll actually retain the whatever you're learning better. I totally understand that and agree now. I taught workshops. I would basically go either Taga. Does Taga still exist? Okay, awesome. How many people are in Taga here? I need to talk to you guys after this for sure. Is Matt Pika? Yep. And how many people are here? Okay, great. I need to talk to you guys also about this. But anyway, so I was a rep, and I decided to pursue basically this position and then ask if there's any availability for me to intern at the end of this year, because I loved it so much. It was really fun for me to lead workshops, hand around swag, talk to different people, and get sneak peeks on demo products Adobe was working on. At the end of 2015, I get an email saying, hey, you've been selected as one of the top 10 ambassadors. We want to offer you an opportunity to interview for an internship in San Francisco. So as I said previously, I'm in San Francisco, and it would have been absolutely perfect. But then also I was applying and almost, I think, either got approved or was getting approved to study abroad in London. So it was I had to figure out, do I go to London or do I take this opportunity and work for Adobe? And so I literally said, okay, you know what, I'm working for Adobe. London can wait. I'll do a trip after, which I actually did do. I started interning for them. So I interviewed, I got the job, and I was going to be working on the Adobe education team, which I didn't even know that Adobe even had, or big companies had a dedicated education team before I started the job. But Adobe basically gave me a platform where I could grow, and the team I was on was working on a lot of different back-to-school marketing campaigns. And so I would focus on specifically college students, such as yourselves, which I currently do as well, and I would need to create ways that would engage you guys to use our products. So whether it's having a cool contest or a cool challenge or having an ambassador program, all these different things I got to work on. And I had a very trusting manager, and I think what Alyssa said was on point. Like, you're your own advocate. You gotta push and show them what you got. GRC people are naturally really good at that. I think that's a skill that we just naturally develop. Super resourceful, and make sure, like, sell yourself. Sell what you could do, sell how hard you could work. It'll be worth it. And I got to work on really awesome projects because of that, because my manager actually trusted me. I got to work on this Marvel project. This is all in the summer, like 2 months time frame. Marvel project, we did the first ever digitally illustrated comic book. And we actually selected different students to be artists, and then we sent them to Comic-Con. And so we actually produced this. I got to work on really fun projects with Disney. And then the biggest thing towards then was we were about to, so the ambassador program was run by an agency. A lot of the time, big companies hire agencies to do side work that they don't have resources internally to do. So the ambassador program, the agency that was running it, we didn't see much result. And it was interesting to be on the other side of it because I was the ambassador, and now I'm like looking at the program from another perspective. And my manager's like, Max, I need you to change this program. I need results in this field. We don't have any. The agency's not doing well. We're paying them a ton of money. How can we change this up? So I worked on a process, and I'll show you in one of the slides what my actual program is, and ultimately got an opportunity to continue, prolong my internship throughout my 2016 year. It was a really difficult year because I had the Adobe part-time job, which is way harder than it seemed. Like, I was literally in class, and in between class I'd get on meetings or do work in between. And I also broke my ankle that summer, right after my internship, and I had like 20-something units because I needed to finish up since I was a switched major. So it was a very intense year, but it was it had a lot of learnings, believe me. But I graduated, I finished, and in 2016 I got a signed offer with Adobe. And this is like advice kind of to the side, but when you sign offers, first of all, try to negotiate. Try to negotiate a price, even if it's like ridiculous. Like, let's say they give you like 50, you say like, I want 80. They may meet you in the middle. Like, they may actually give you more money. The worst thing they say is, no, sorry, we only have this much. Are you still down? And you say, whatever. But always ask. Like, that's the biggest thing. I was literally talking to a friend before this, and I was like, what's my favorite quote? And I was like, the answer is always no if you don't ask. Literally one of the best. It's like my mantra. It's like what I go by. In 2016, once I graduated, I signed a contract with them, and I said, also negotiated, I want 1 month before I want to travel. And so you could totally do that. Like, you could take not a gap year, but like a gap month and go travel. Like, change it up a little bit before you start working, because believe me, it's not easier after school. Like, you're going to be working crazy hours probably to get seen, and then you'll like level out later on. In 2016, once I started working, I immediately put myself out there, and my position was campaign marketing coordinator on the Adobe education team. And what I did was first worked on my ambassador program. Second of all, I went to events on behalf of Adobe. Being an ambassador on campus taught me how to talk to people, taught me how to table, how to get people to listen during the workshop. And so I actually used that, what I learned in college and also in classes, and converted it into the working force and what I do with Adobe. And also, quite frankly, a lot of the time it's very hard for big companies to get people to rep them. And it's a cool opportunity to, first of all, travel. Second of all, meet new people. Third of all, get your name out there. And if you are not married or don't have kids, the answer is most likely going to be yes from your manager to go and represent the company. So if you want to travel around, if you want to check out different trade shows and conferences, make sure to ask. So as my position changed from campaign marketing coordinator, which I was doing a lot of the programs I was mentioning earlier with the ambassador, I wanted to actually go ahead and start creating the marketing campaigns and being in the room when they actually create what is our big marketing strategy for higher ed, meaning students in colleges all across the US, if not worldwide. And every year what Adobe does is we create marketing campaign motto. And so before, I think in like 2 years ago, it was like make it Creative Cloud. Then it was last year, the future is yours, make it. And this year it's make the leap. And so what these things do is they give us a reason to show students why they should create. So my role is both product marketing, it's community, it's showing people what our product can do in general, and then basically convincing them why they could use us to fit their needs, whatever it may be, school or for fun. And so this year, our motto is Make the Leap, and we got to work on this campaign. And this is the second campaign I actually saw throughout. So I worked on both all the various marketing assets. You don't realize this when you just see ads, but you have to work on search. What are the key search terms you're putting in? You have to work on display ads. How do you display the percentage off without annoying people? How many times should it pop up on your Facebook feed? Where should we put it? Where else do you browse? And then email. We know that students are not really looking at email too much and it's spam, but it still reaches some people. And some people actually look forward to an email if it's really crafty, fun, super unique. Like what I noticed was if there's even like an asset or something to download to keep, even like a sticker pack, people are going to open up that email and be like, wow, I want to just download the sticker pack. Oh, and I'll read what's on the email body. So you have to think about all these different things. And so I want to share with you a really quick video about our new campaign. Right here you can read, this is kind of like our Bible or what we state this Make the Leap motto is all about. But it's something that we want to relate to the students. So we want to connect to you not as corporate big A Adobe, but like we are a fellow peer. And so your ideas matter, but getting them out in the world can be hard. When we focus so much on creating the perfect thing, it can be a challenge to even get started. At Adobe, we believe that creativity is more than just an outcome, it's a process. So go ahead, make the leap. So I'll play this video after and just show you all these components that you're going to see in the video we worked on with internal teams as well as outer agencies to create. Oh, and there's no volume. Wait, hold on. I really want to play the audio. Whatever. This is my favorite part. The final, and then you submit it. So this video right here, probably to actually produce, create, put together, make sure it's approved by brand, legal, everyone at Adobe pretty much. It could take up to like 3-4 months, like in advance. So we work on the back to school part, which is fall time frame. When you just enter school, we work on that like 4 or 5 months before to even make something like this happen. Next up, I worked on a lot of brand partnerships. And the reason why brand partnerships are so important, especially in the education field, is because it gets your attention. How many of you guys know artist Billie Eilish? Okay, so it's a big name. And what Adobe has tried to do, and I think this only happened in the recent 3 years that I've actually been there, is we try to connect creativity to something that's not necessarily seen as a design or a video or a photo. And it's an artist, basically a person that performs on stage. We never think about it as like an art form, but it really is. They not only learn how to have stage presence, they create music videos, a lot of the time direct and design their own. And Billie Eilish was an amazing example of a person that actually uses Adobe products before. So Billie basically came up and we realized, okay, this girl is super relevant with both the Gen Z and the millennials audiences. She designs and uses Adobe tools. Her videos are crazy wild. She has concerts all the time. How can we connect with her and how can we create a challenge or a contest? And so one of the things we did with her was she was about to launch her first album, and this is all in pairing with back to school. So like this big launch, when we come up to you and say, this is why you should use Adobe, all these components are crucial to actually make you guys as students want to use Adobe because you want to put yourself in this position, or you want to create like this, or you want to be able to win or meet an artist. And so she launched an album called When We Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? And we were thinking about what is the best way that we could use this to our benefit and have students, such as yourselves, use Adobe tools to create something to potentially meet Billie Eilish in person in LA during one of her tour stops and also win $1,000. There's also a ton of runner-up. And with these type of challenges, you're engaging the audience. You're making people want to participate, want to use the tools. Even if they don't know how to use the tools, this is the perfect opportunity where we give them these little trial videos or tutorial videos of how to create something really simple and make it look really cool with like compositions of different things. So this contest was running about a month or so, maybe a little longer, and we got like 10,000 submissions. And so the top right over here is the winner, and the second one over there is the runner-up. But this is kind of showing you how like Adobe can be used to visually express so many different ideas, and here it was expressed through a partnership with an artist that people relate to. So here's the little promo video just for you to get the feel for it.
Some of my best ideas come when I'm dreaming. I like when you did that. Guess I'm pretty glad that you're alone. You said she's with me. I mean, I don't see what she sees, but maybe it's 'cause I'm wearing your cologne. I'm a bad guy. Make it. Creative Cloud.
So yeah, this was super fun, and you could still visit, this is all on our website, and I gave you a list of resources after that I'll send after, so you could check around and see. I just wanted to highlight the key partnerships we've done this year, and this was actually one of my favorites, and I think one of the riskiest ones we've ever done. So you guys know Reddit, right? How many of you guys actually use Reddit? How many of you guys are addicted to Reddit? How many of you check it every single day? Well, Reddit is a super fun platform that has, I think it has like a world record of how many users it has signed up on it on like during a specific time frame. I think it's like one of the most visited websites in the world or something like that. So anyway, Reddit is a really, really risky place for brands to be. And one of the things you have to decide on when you're working in an education team, and specifically working on these marketing campaigns, is how risky can you get, and how can you connect, again, to the student audience, and you have to meet them where they really are. And a lot of people aren't on Reddit, but a lot of people trash talk on Reddit. A lot of people hate brands on Reddit because they're like, I'm just trying to browse some funny videos of a horse falling off or something like that. I don't want to, look at a brand selling me 60% off on something. So they approached us, and I had a first meeting with their creative director, and he basically said, hey, Reddit has never partnered with a big brand such as Adobe. There's so many people that already create and share Adobe tips on this platform. How do we create something that's super fun, engaging, and also getting people to actually use Adobe and create something cool? So they decided to give us this idea where it's called Reddit Layers. And so what we did was, if you visit the website, you'll see a little bit more of it. But basically what we created is, we created a screen as if you were in Photoshop on Reddit platform, and it was live for 5 days. And so what people could do is take over different parts of the artboard, and it would be layers. So let's say I created a mouse, and then someone else created a horse. They would move up in the layers thing, and I think there was like, 150,000 layers. And you could actually partner with people worldwide to create a specific part of this artboard. So let's say like all of us are like, we want to get GRC logo on there. We would work together and continuously check it out and see how we can make one specific part just saying GRC. And so it's really fun, super engaging, doesn't really involve them to open the Adobe product, but it gives them a sense of, whoa, actually Adobe's kind of cool. This was pretty easy to make. They could go ahead and make this in the tools that they want to and upload it to this, but ultimately they're connecting this cool experience where they're in a community with fellow designers or fellow people that just want to write something out and be able to create. And so you could see here, like, it always changes. This was literally for 5 days non-stop, and it was at the top of Reddit. You go there and you're like, create a layer. And it was the first of its kind, and it's pretty crazy because it was all web-based. So you basically like constantly could upload something or check it out and see what's going on. Now I'll tell you something that people don't know, because you see like everything is beautiful, it looks good. What you don't know, and what you could probably expect if you think about it, is a lot of bad stuff can be created. So that's why what I really liked about it is that we had a bunch of monitors. We had a bunch of people that actually moderators to check what we're doing, how we're doing. If someone posted something bad, like remove it. And having that mechanism in place is absolutely crucial. A lot of the time, especially platforms like these, you want to make sure you have a very strong security so it doesn't screw up your brand. So there's not a story tomorrow on Cron4 News how Adobe had like a swastika on their Reddit layer. You know what I mean? So we wanted to make sure that we we saw that coming, and we had over 100 countries come together, and this is a big effort. And then after this, there's always a halo effect of every single marketing campaign that you create. There's always something you want to follow up with the users, or you want to show them after the fact. So with Billie Eilish, we created a video with the person that she actually met in LA. With Reddit, we started advertising, but not regular advertising, save 60% off, buy Adobe, whatever. We actually used different parts of the layers here and gave credit to the people that actually submitted them, and then got more popular and got reshares in the community itself. So I think that's a very cool example of a company taking a very big risk on a very risky platform, but getting a ton of the community members to kind of love us, and now to kind of be our resource and guide. And we have a channel, reddit.com/layers, that we live on this platform now, and people can view all this work. Now we have a contest that's live literally right now, and we just got last night, we got an extension, and working with very big companies and brands that represent music artists is always super fun, because last night they're like, you know what, actually, we want to extend the deadline, we don't have enough submissions, we want to do it March 2nd or something like that. And so you always have to, adapt. If you promoted this on social media, you have to make sure that you write the right message, like, hey, by the way, you have an extension deadline, we love you so much, we want to give you more time to create. And so with Tierra Whack, that was an exact example. Right now, I don't know how many of you guys know this artist. Does anyone know Tierra Whack? Okay, I'm impressed. I think she's one of the most influential up-and-coming artists right now that has the wackiest and craziest designs possible. If you guys have a moment after the session, check out the Whack, I think it's called Whack World. It's a music video she created. It is absurd. Like, the stuff that she thinks of and the places that she shoots video and with the concept she combines is truly a work of art itself. So this is, again, an example of like, hey, we have an opportunity. Let's partner with a woman that's up and coming in the music industry, but also uses our tools in a very different way than Billie does. She uses it for, really crazy psychedelic type of music videos that take you through an entire journey and story. And how can we actually introduce this to the education world or to the students? And so we decided, you know what? What if Tierra Whack, which she's going on a tour in March, she's going like a ton of, I think it's like 20 different locations or something like that. But what if we have a contest or challenge to create a new jumpsuit for Tierra to wear at every single contest or concert that she does? And so this is, again, engaging the community. Whoever knows Tierra Whack, I think a lot of the younger people, maybe in high school, because we try to hit higher ed, which is all of you guys, college students, and we also try to hit sometimes this K-12 market, which is kindergarten to like 12th grade. And so with this, you're hitting both high schoolers and college students that know her, and it gets people really excited to start using this tool. So we don't just throw them in the field and say, go create something. We give them templates. So we give them an Illustrator template and a tutorial of how to do it. Check it out, download it, so you're not like super lost in this product. And then we give them very easy alternatives, like an app. Someone asked earlier, how do you convert your sketches into illustrations? And there's a very easy way of doing it that obviously you still have to work on it on Illustrator, but there's an app called Adobe Capture. You use your phone, you capture it, and then it basically makes a vector of whatever you drew. And so we have that as an alternative too for people that are beginner users. So we try to hit both the beginner, the intermediate, and the pro with these type of contests. And so this just started. This is live right now. If you guys want to submit, go ahead. I will send you the link right after too. It's in the resources. But basically, you get to compete with a bunch of people and then maybe meet her in person at one of her tours and get your work literally on her. So I don't know what better way of promoting yourself than actually having your artwork on an artist on stage that's performing to millions of people. Cool.
See this? It's blank. That's because you haven't designed it yet. Go to whackxadobe.com, submit your design, or just might wear it on tour. Get weird, get hype, and get creative. Peace.
Okay. I hope this is, can you read this? Okay, cool. Okay, so now I'm going to cover the ambassador program I worked on. And so this is a really, really exciting project for me because I pretty much, it's like my child. It's the baby that I started growing up when I was literally in college. I was part of the ambassador program. And then in 2015, I was asked in 2016, hey, can you change this program up? So what I decided to do is instead of having 3-4 reps running around on campus, which a lot of brands do, I decided to partner with clubs on campus, such as TAGA or Matt Pack a Pie or Business Club, whatever. And the reason I started partnering with these clubs is, first of all, there's a lot of people that have different types of backgrounds. We call them core users, which are all of you guys, the design people, and there's the non-core users, these econ, physics, business majors that maybe have an appetite to learn it because they're entrepreneurial and they want to make their own logo, brand, kit, whatever, but they're not our direct target market. And what I wanted to do was create a sponsorship for the club, because a lot of clubs need money to just stay active. A lot of clubs need sponsorship from a big brand to actually just build credibility about, hey, we're on campus, we're big, we're partnering with a big brand, check us out. But also what the program started doing is allowing students to become these, we call them evangelists, or spokespeople on behalf of Adobe, and being part of this real Adobe team. And a lot of you guys, even in this audience, have enough skill to teach a workshop on something and then also benefit yourself by actually getting in front of the stage and speaking to people and learning the product and so forth. And so with this program, we started off with 20 universities. I selected, I think TAGA was maybe in the first 20 that I started. And I said, hey, I want you guys to just do 2 workshops. You choose the topic. I don't care. It could be prepping for game day, creating an Illustrator poster, or creating a UI UX prototype using Adobe XD. I don't really care. I want you guys to have freedom and be we call them the CMOs on campus. Like, just go, create the marketing materials, create your social flyering, create your messaging, just run it by me just to make sure that we don't have any foul play with the brand. But other than that, you get to run the show. And what I noticed is students really want to be empowered. They want to be able to actually show off their skill. They want to be working on this as like a side hustle. Like, they're not only benefiting the club itself by creating, getting money, but they're also getting swag and they're building their professional portfolio themselves. So one of the non-monetary, I guess, things that comes out of this program is that you get to actually get professional experience by being pretty much a teacher on campus, pretty much being a marketing professional on campus, pretty much being a sales professional on campus. And so all these things have come in to grow this network, and now we're at about 75 universities. And so we basically want to empower the student to be the teacher of our product, and then also provide very unique opportunities for them as they grow in the program. And so on the very right, you see that they earn this VIP status. What that means is that we constantly do, not just the Adobe education team, but throughout all of Adobe, we have so many opportunities that young blood, or like young students, should definitely be a part of but aren't. Or we want to offer this opportunity to you guys. And so one of the big opportunities was Terminator. Terminator basically was created in Premiere Pro and After Effects, and the team decided, big Adobe, not just Adobe Education, we want to run a contest and challenge to get people to create a trailer for us, for this film that's coming out, and you get to actually see it in live theaters, you get to go to a live showing. And again, we promoted this and gave the entire kit to the student reps and the ambassadors before the program even launched. So they got to be these people that are promoting and hooking up their friends, showing them the cool stuff that they're doing, and also giving first access to the peers that attend their sessions, workshop, whatever it may be. Also, opportunities that we've created within Adobe and also now passed down to the students and made you guys kind of aware of these is these drop-in creative jams. And so what a creative jam is basically a hackathon, design-a-thon of some sort, and we do it virtually, so a lot of people can join. Let's say you're in class and then you're in a different class or at the gym or whatever, and you want to still participate in this, you could still participate on your computer at your comfort of your home. And what these creative jams do is they invite people to create on a specific topic that's current. So let's say MLK Day. We'll say, like, create a cool design with MLK in mind or something like that. And all of you guys get to basically participate in this drop-in jam and then have professionals from different industries. You can have some designer from Disney, you have a designer from Adobe, you have a designer from Intel, you have a designer from Pandora, and they basically get onto the call and judge your work. And I think it's a 48-hour contest. And so again, this gives a promotion for the students to basically get a room, reserve a room, have this meeting of people, whoever want to be there. If they want to be there, they can. If they want to log in remote. But they're the ones promoting these events and giving exclusive opportunities to meet the Disney, director, or creative director. And then another opportunity that kind of developed from this program and also been entered into this VIP access bucket is Adobe did a really cool project called Adobe Creative Tour. And what it enabled was we partnered with Live Nation. Do you guys know Live Nation? You've probably been to some of the concerts. we partnered with them to actually create challenges on the go from Lollapalooza, the actual big, what is it called? The music festival, and then to actually meeting 21 pilots, to having Vampire Weekend. And so all these creative tours that we put together basically had a challenge associated with the person or the artist that was doing the show. So if Vampire Weekend was coming up, you had a challenge of create something cool for Vampire Weekend to show on their backboard display when they're presenting at whatever arena. And you then get to meet them and win. So again, we gave first access to these ambassadors and students to be able to present, an opportunity as cool as this. So that's the ambassador program. And again, I grew this from absolutely one program, and I converted this into something totally different. And it all kind of started and stemmed from in college and getting the internship, and then actually doing it full time after. So here are a bunch of applications. I know that you guys use already a lot of the applications like Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, but here are some that are actually fairly new, and maybe some of you haven't seen before. But one of my favorites right now is actually Adobe Fresco. And I heard that you create in Procreate, which is an amazing tool. But this is very similar. It's basically a drawing and painting tool. And what you can do is you actually can take, and watching the videos of people actually create on this is mesmerizing. Basically what it does is you could create like a watercolor effect, and then the watercolor will actually spread through the paint. So let's say I have a red and a green, and it will actually smear together. And it's super satisfying. It's literally like therapy. But Fresco is a brand new tool. It's available on the iPad Pro, and I would highly recommend you to try it out. I think it's still free, so you could check that out. I heard that you guys now have a UI UX concentration, which is amazing news for me. But XD is basically a prototyping tool, and it's also free, you could use, and it's really, really, really powerful. The stuff that they integrated in this with like voice commands and transitions, and it doesn't even have to be just a prototype. You can actually create presentations in it if you want. You can create logos and simple design work as well. One of the very, very, very exciting products that I personally, I don't know how it works at all, but I'm really interested in, is Project Aero or Adobe Aero. And this is an augmented reality application and tool. And basically you can have an iPad or your phone, and you can create a flat image or whatever illustration and put it into a physical space. So let's say I drew this out and it was flat. With Aero, I uploaded this up, and it actually creates a 3D and knows aware of the space here with AI. And I could literally have that as an activation, or on campus you could do that for some friends to come over and check it out. Photoshop Camera, also very, very new. They literally just launched this like a couple months ago. Again, it's very fun. It's a way to use filters and fun things like Instagram and Snapchat kind of mashed together. I'd say that's Photoshop Camera. Also free, check it out. Premiere Rush. Do I have any video editors here? No? Okay. Well, you could start becoming a video editor with this simple tool. Basically, Adobe Premiere Rush is a way to create a video in like 5 minutes. You basically mash up some things. It's super easy. It's very similar to like iMovie, but with Premiere Pro hacks. That's how I would want to explain it. And then another very exciting thing, if you guys use Photoshop, now it's coming to the iPad, or it's come to the iPad, and it's extremely, extremely powerful. And so Adobe in general is going very, very mobile. It's going towards like the tablet, and so this one is announced, but what's not announced yet and will come is there's going to be a new Adobe Illustrator. So it's going to replace Illustrator Draw, and it's going to come on the iPad as well. And so really exciting stuff. These are tools that I highly recommend playing around, checking out, and also creating content for yourself, like how to promote yourself. Build a portfolio using like 3 or 4 of these tools. Say, hey, I created in this, and show your skill out to a potential employer, or just to build the professional portfolio. Now I'll do advice. How much time do I have? 12. Okay, perfect. So now I'll do some advice. I really liked your illustrations. I can't beat them, sorry. This is Adobe Clean font. I did not make these myself. But here's a couple pieces of advice, and some of them you've touched upon, Alyssa, in the previous presentation, done a great job doing so. But I'd say these are in order, no particular order. I'd say one of the best ones that are relate directly to me is probably trust and believe in yourself. Because a lot of the time, even from the time that I wanted to switch majors, I was like, damn, I don't want to deal with this. I can't do it. It's going to take me so long. I'm not sure if I could actually get up and be able to do the tasks that are needed. And I trusted and believed in myself, and then honestly got where I needed to be. Same thing when you're in the work world, right? If you just got an internship and you're like, oh, I should probably be quiet and just be a sponge and listen to everything that's said. I don't think that's true. I think you should actually be heard. I think you should share your opinion. A lot of the time companies, what students don't understand is a lot of the time companies actually value the younger opinion way more than the older people or the people that worked at the company for a while now, because it's changing perspective. It's bringing your opinions to the table that maybe they haven't even thought of, and like even the slang that you use currently, people that are in the older generation don't know of, but you could reach an entire potential market of 18 to 24 students for any company you go to. Be brave. Make sure to ask questions. Come up. If there's a career fair, I don't remember. I think that it was NASA, I think, was here at the career fair. And there was literally a huge line of people that are coming up and like super scared to come up and like talk to them and be like, hey, be brave. Go to NASA and go to every single one of the people that are there at that career fair. Like, you have nothing to lose. Literally, the answer is always no if you don't, ask. Connections are very, very, very valuable. I really agree with what Alyssa said, where you're building relationships with the people. They're not simply just numbers, but I think you should definitely, if you guys don't have a LinkedIn, get a LinkedIn. If you guys do art or even anything that's related to projects that you would like to share with the world, use Behance, create a Behance portfolio. And then include all these things in every single chat that you have with any professional. Even if it's literally going to a random bar and meeting someone and they're a professional in a certain career, be ready to be like, hey, check out, by the way, you never know, it might be a designer, check out my Behance portfolio on my phone. Or check out my LinkedIn, let's connect. And then actually follow up with the people. Message them, ask them, what are some cool projects that are doing? Share what you're doing. It's okay to be annoying. I was so annoying. I think I messaged like 35 different product managers, product marketing managers at different companies before I even knew that I was gonna get Adobe. Like, go ahead. A lot of the time, people will actually sit down with you and tell you about their career. People love talking about themselves, such as myself and I'm assuming Alyssa too. But make sure to reach out to them. Actually get them to start engaging with you. Getting out of your comfort zone, you guys know that even coming up on stage and speaking, like that's not something that's super comfortable, but you gotta do it. You gotta, excel in that. Make yourself super visible. We touched on that. Learn how to work both in teams and solo. Alyssa said this earlier that she was a team of 6 pretty much on her own. Like, that's extremely valuable for a company. But also, sometimes you have to delegate tasks. Like, I'm not as good of a designer as Alyssa is, but if I know how to delegate tasks and I learn how to manage a team properly, I will tab Alyssa and say, hey, can you please design this beautiful artwork? I will create all of the back-end marketing materials and sales, strategy, but I need your talent to create this. That's okay. Learn how to work in a team. That's very important. And you're always working with people, and literally Cal Poly's motto is learn by doing. So like you're creating something, but you have to learn how to create yourself and create with people as well. Be your authentic self. Just, don't try to be someone you're totally not. That's not gonna work. Like maybe it'll get you the first interview, maybe you'll get into this job, but then in like 2 months, you'll just hate it because you're faking yourself. Internships, super valuable. I want all of you guys to have an internship this summer, even if it's not for pay, do it. It's experience. I think of internships as trial. So you have like a 7-day trial period, right? With a lot of things that you can trial online. This is your trial period. You could fail, you could succeed, you could hate it, you could love it, whatever. You need to use this opportunity to take these internships and actually learn how to fail, learn how to succeed. Meet people in general. Someone can contact you from a completely different company offering you a job, just like you've said for Elephant. Stay up to date with what's going on in the world. That's really important. I'm not talking about like news and current events. I'm talking about in your field. So if you're a designer, it's changing all the time. Make sure to stay up to date. Make sure to see what's going on in the world. Maybe this Pantone color of the year is way worse than last year's, but like you have to know what this year's Pantone color of the year if you want to have a conversation with some new wave designer. Work-life balance, super, super, super important. I can't stress this enough because burnout is real. You can burn out literally by putting in so much effort because you're like, I want to prove to my manager I'm the best possible person there is. Make sure to work and then also have a life. Don't forget about the life part, okay? It's very, very, very important. If you don't balance those, you're just going to burn yourself out and then just quit or fail or give up. And lastly, and this is perfectly to be the last one because I want you guys to ask me questions, but ask questions. Even if you don't think you have a question, figure out a question to ask. I'd say like that's the best advice ever. If you're in an interview and people are like, hey man, you gotta ask a question at the end of your interview, that's should do it. Even if it's like, how was your day today? Like, just ask them a question. It shows that you're engaged, it shows you're listening, it shows that you actually want to learn more from them and listen from you. So here's my information. Hit me up. That QR code, if it works from afar over there, that's amazing, but that's my LinkedIn. I'll send this presentation after. I'll give you my email as well. Feel free to email me. I actually do answer emails, especially if you write like Cal Poly in the subject line. Bias for sure. I'll hit you up and talk to you after, and also if you want to talk after this, or if you want to set up like a meeting, a virtual meeting, I'm happy to do so. I love talking to students. We have a bunch of opportunities coming up. This is the Sales Max coming up. But we have a bunch of demos, we have a bunch of products, we have a bunch of product marketing managers and product managers on different teams that products are not even out in the market yet, and we need student help. We need you guys to talk about, give feedback, actually play with the tools, tell us what's wrong, be straight up with us. So if you even want to participate in anything like that, or be on the Adobe Student Advisory Board, which is a board I manage of people that are just designers, or people that vary in, you could be a great graphic designer, a great illustrator artist, or none of the above, and just have really good feedback and opinions on products. I would love to add you to the advisory board. You will automatically get 12 months free of Creative Cloud if you do so. Also, does Cal Poly get free Creative Cloud? Oh wow, that's amazing. Okay, good. That's yeah, exactly. You will pay a lot more, $52.99 after. But milk this one for sure. And if you do want to, I know that you get from Cal Poly, but if you want to get your own because you're working on your own projects or whatever, make sure to do the student discount. It's $19.99. It's not $52.99. So do that. So now I think I have like, what, 5 more minutes or something left. Any questions, ask away. If you don't ask now, you can ask after. What's up?
Do you have any other internships besides your internship at Adobe?
Yeah. So I worked at a really small startup in Mountain View the summer of, I think, 2013. And it was web development, and I had no idea how to code or do any of that. There's this website, I think it's like W3 Schools, that was like my guide. Like my manager was awful, he wasn't active at all. And the cool part is that I learned actually a ton from being there, because I learned what is absolutely wrong to do in their industry, in their field. The teams were so bad, no one was talking to each other, people were doing their own thing. They're like, it's just not a good or healthy environment to be in. So it was nice to kind of see that and see a person that's completely hands off. Sometimes managers are hands off, and it's an amazing thing because they let you do something really crazy and wild, and you actually succeed with that. But sometimes they just like don't care. And so you gotta start making them care, realize that, hey, this is not working for me, because ultimately like, you're in charge of your own fate. Like if you are not liking your job, or if you don't see any opportunity coming up, if you don't see yourself growing, don't get stuck in this comfort zone area. That is so common, you have no idea. People are like, you know what, I'm just gonna work here because it's paying the bills, like I don't wanna risk losing whatever. Like, listen, stop what you're doing if you don't like it. If you can't find a job, if you can't pay rent, go live at home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, figure out a way of because you're spending like 40 hours a week working. So it's like, you wanna make sure you're doing a job that you actually remotely like. I don't know exact date, but I'm assuming it's within like a 2-month time frame, because they already talk about like actually giving people test access. So like if you're really interested, I do want to see whoever is interested in being on an advisory board, or see any demo tools, or talk to even the university recruiting team. I'd be happy to pass down your emails, your resumes, whatever. I have a direct connect with our university talent team, or basically our recruiters. So I'd be more than happy to give them basically an entire list of all these students and what your positions that you're interested in, and then they'll actually hit you up. So yes, I'll email you and then you'll know the date. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think there was like 20 or 25. Like, you can make money off this stuff. Like, this is not too crazy. Like, you will actually at least get like 3 to 6 months of free Creative Cloud as like the worst, case. But like, I think that's a very, very valid point, because we also started this new thing, and it's not part of Adobe Education, but it's in general. It's called Creative Challenges. And so every single day we have this platform that's on Behance. It's called Adobe Live. And there's professionals talking about what they're doing, how they do it, what their tips and tricks are. And it's mostly for the pro community, the people that are really using the products and want to learn new tips and tricks. But the thing is with that community is they want to keep creating and actually learn something and then apply it immediately. They're not like students where they learn something, they're like, I'll learn it and then maybe I'll apply it, but I'll probably not do anything after. But the thing with this is like you can literally just sit down for like 20 minutes, do this creative challenge, have an output of this, potentially win some money, but then add that into your portfolio. Like what you do in school is amazing, and there's a lot of work that you can actually get out of school and put into your working portfolio. But what if you even had more to stand out with other people in your class? Need more. You must, yeah.
Everyone out there knows what your classes are who come out of GRC.
Yep.
And they know if they see your portfolio and it's only GRC, that shows your work. What happens if you go beyond the walls of GRC? Like others, like Max,
Yep.
like it's got everyone that's very successful and they're showing up so that's one thing.
100%. Any more questions? All right, cool. I have Adobe pins coming. They didn't arrive in time in classic fashion, but I will send those to Professor Donegan and she'll give it out to you guys. It's Adobe pins, super fun stuff. I saw someone have like an XD pin. That's amazing on your bag. So I'll send that out, and then also feel free to come up to me, talk to me right now. I also have business cards I can give to you, but also straight up just email me with the Cal Poly subject line and your name, and I will actually reach back out to you. For whoever wants to connect now and give me your name and email for me to actually message you about opportunities, such as the Adobe Student Advisory Board, I'll be happy to hook you guys up. Thank you.